Both the sedimentary and the metamorphic rock experiments follow the same startup. Essentially, you've got to make rocks. Now, the type of rock we're going to be making are sedimentary rocks. It's a little bit harder to make big igneous rocks to do any of these experiments with, say the metamorphic one, because you're supposed to actually have molten salts, and that's very dangerous for you guys at this age. So we're going to make sedimentary rocks instead. Now, you've got to follow the recipe carefully, or you're not going to make a rock, you're going to make mush. So listen carefully. First of all, you're going to be given a muffin tin with 2 muffin liners. You need to use those so that we can actually get the rocks out of the muffin tin. Once you've got those muffin tins and muffin liners, you're going to be making sure you put your name on your rock. So with the pens that you guys have been given, I want you to just write your name, or the names of your groups, so that you know whose rock it is. Okay, that's all you need. We can usually tell what type of rock it is just by looking at it anyway. Next, you've got to get your ingredients together. So you're going to be given a foam cup, and in that foam cup you're going to be mixing up your rock, and you're going to mix enough to pour into both containers here. So just realize that what you're mixing up is going to have to go between both of them. Now, the next very important piece of equipment that you're going to be given is your quarter cup, this little guy here. So that quarter cup, or a container that's about a quarter cup in size, is going to be used to measure out all of your ingredients, and you've got to get them in the right order or it won't work. So first of all, you have to use that quarter cup to put in 1 lot of a quarter cup of plaster of Paris. Okay, only 1 into your cup. Now, you need to be careful. You must have eyeglasses on. You need to make sure that you do not splash this about or breathe it in, because plaster of Paris, I know you've used it a lot as little kids sometimes, but it can actually be very dangerous. Essentially, it is a cement. As soon as it gets wet, it chemically reacts, heats up, and starts to cement together anything it's touching. So if you get that in your eyes, where there's an awful lot of water in there, it will actually start reacting and cementing over on your eyeball. That is why you must have your eyeglasses on. If you breathe in plaster of Paris dust, you can imagine what's going to happen as it chemically reacts and heats up inside your throat. You do not breathe it in. It's very dangerous. Okay, so it's really important with plaster of Paris that you don't stuff around with it. You don't get it in your eyes, you don't get it in your mouth, you don't muck around. And last but not least, and I'll show you this later, you don't go sticking your fingers in while it's setting, because, as I said, it heats up. People have been known to cook off fingers getting their hands actually stuck in plaster of Paris molds. You do not stuff around with it. So, back to the show. First of all, you take your quarter cup, you put in 1 lot of quarter cup of plaster of Paris into there without spreading around dust, blah, blah, blah. Number 2, you put in 1 1/2. I'm going to zoom in there so you get that. 1 1/2 lots of rocks. Now, the type of rock will depend on what you're making. If you're making mudstone, it's going to be mud. If you're making sandstone, it's going to be sand. And if you're making metamorphic rock, you're actually going to be making a mixture of different rocks. So just listen to your teacher. So you're going to take that 1 1/2 cups, quarter cups of rock and put them in there. Then I want you to stir them up with the lovely little spoon or stirrer that we've supplied. Stir them up and get them nice and mixed up, because once you put your water in there, you're going to want to stir it up quick. Once it's all mixed, you then add water. Yes, it sort of reads like a recipe here. You add water, again, mix it up and get it going, nicely mixed, everything through. Then you pour it into your muffin, the paper muffin covers in your muffin trays. Please make sure you don't put it into the tray itself. It's really hard to get out. You've got to put in half each one, okay? So you split it between 2. You should have made enough to at least put enough up to there in your muffin tray. Pat it down, make sure it's nice and flat, not really a lot of air bubbles. If you do get any on your hands, go and wash them off. Do not rub it in your eyes, and then you need to tidy up. And that is how you're going to be making your rocks in a nutshell.